Hello everybody, this is BlueChipSim here, and it has been a long time since I have posted a video, so I decided that I'm going to come back and do part 2 of the video that I did post most recently, which was my PMDG NGX tutorial. So here we are back in the WestJet 737, continuing our flight from Vancouver down to Palm Springs. So we are about 35 nautical miles from top of descent. So we're going to go ahead and program our arrival. That is the next step for us. Everything else is just the way we left it. We've just been cruising. Flight time so far has been about an hour and 54 minutes. So we're going to come down here and we're going to go to departure and arrival. We are coming into KPSP or Palm Springs, so we're going to click on arrival here. The winds are favoring 3-1 left and 3-1 right, but 3-1 right is a much shorter runway, so the main runway is going to be this 1-3 right, 3-1 left. So the winds are favoring 3-1 left, and we're going to be doing obviously an RNAV because there is no ILS here at the KPSP. So we're going to do RNAV 3-1 left with an S-Bono 1 star GFS transition and S-Bono transition onto the runway path. So all of that, most of that is what you'll find in the flight plan. The runway, the star, and the transition, the star transition here is what I will find in the flight plan. This runway transition is something that I will find on the runway charts and all the other charts, but I do double check all this with the charts just to make sure. So I'm going to go ahead and execute that. We're going to come back out, and now we are going to step through the route. Click that click spot, make sure it goes back down where we need it to, and we're going to step through the route, zooming in a little bit as needed. Turn left, decelerate, come in, and then go straight into the runway and land there. So now let's go ahead and put the map back where it was, zoom out a little bit, come down to the FMC, and look at cruise. So even though, so it looks like our top of descent pushed out just a little bit. Now we are at 34 nautical miles. We were at 35, we're still at 35, so yeah. I'm going to see you guys again soon when we get closer to the airport and when there's more setup needed on the aircraft. So I will get back to you guys then, and I will let you know when it's time to descend. The next step that I will be doing is, once I get to top of descent, since I'm not in controlled space, I'm just going to put this at the runway intercept value, or the, I should say, I'm going to put it at 4,000, which is the top of the glide slope. So for this runway, so that's our next step. So when you come back, that'll probably be at 4,000. That's important because if you don't change the altitude, your aircraft will not descend when it hits top of descent, because the aircraft runs on autopilot, but this is the autopilot panel, basically. It's called the mode control panel, but this up here controls, is the master controls for autopilot. So once you put this down, it will allow the plane to descend at a minimum to the altitude that is in that window. So I'm going to put that down to 4,000 when I get close to top of descent, and then I'll continue to descent and see you guys when the next thing has to happen. Alright, bye-bye now. Alright, and we are back descending into the mountains. We're making a right bank real quick. We are just passing through about 10,000 feet And now for the rest of the flight, I'll be with you as we make some preparations. So since we're past the 10,000 feet, apologies, we got a couple things we need to do. First, we're going to flip on the landing lights. Then we're going to come back down here, set our auto brake to 2, so around medium or so. And then, as you noticed, a couple things changed. So obviously I said I was going to put the altitude here down to 4,000. And then 2 more things. Once we got through 18,000 feet, I set the pressure to the local pressure of 29.86. And I also put the minimums. It's a baro minimums of 734 feet. You do that right here. We scroll up and down here. As you might notice, it's changing down there. So it's 734 feet. Looks like we are going to, we might need some speed brakes in a second, but first we're going to go ahead and select our approach reference. So we get that by clicking right in here, init ref, and it'll just pop up the page we need. We're going to do flaps 30, so we're going to click it once to fill the scratch pad, and then click down here to put it in there. So we are going to be at a speed of 144 and flaps of 30. And the last thing that we need to do to get ready is we are going to be putting in, actually, sorry, I forgot this is in RNAV, so no ILS frequency required. We're just going to be on LNAV the entire time, but we will arm approach when needed. We're going to go ahead and put in the course of, we're going to scroll the other way, the runway course of 309. And I believe in the first part of the video I did say that we were going to be doing an auto land, but I guess I didn't realize that it was an RNAV approach. So with an RNAV approach, we're not going to be able to do auto land. So I'll make sure and cover auto land in another video. Maybe I will do a much shorter video where we just come up on final approach to a bigger airport with an ILS, and then I can show an auto land from there. That'll probably work a whole lot better. With this one, you can get to see me manually land it, I guess. That's what I do plan on doing. Give it the little light touch of the, well, in my case, joystick, but in Boeing's case, yoke, right? So, looks like other than flaps, we are just about ready to land. We will keep descending. Once we get to 4,000, we're probably going to drop this altitude down a little more. And then, yeah, we're ready to land. So, while we've got nothing to do but just sit here and watch the flight, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. I'm going to kind of shift towards doing tutorial videos. I can't really give a great schedule of what I'm going to be releasing, or when I'm going to be releasing. I got a lot of stuff going on in real life, not the sim world. So I can't really give a definitive schedule, but my goal is to do at a minimum 1 video a month. Hopefully more, but at a minimum 1 video a month. I think that will be a good timetable. So yeah, if you want to be updated when I release a video, since it's not going to be on too regular of a schedule, hit that subscribe button and it'll pop up in your feed. So we are turning towards the runway. Let's get in the first officer's seat. and then see if we can look back and find the airport. Looks like it's a little bit hazy, but it's going to be right out there. And we got the city of Palm Springs out here. It's a beautiful city. Never been there in real life, but I would love to go. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm going to try and do one video a month at a minimum. And the next tutorial series might be my favorite plane. My favorite aircraft is the Boeing 777. So I would be kind of excited to do a 777 tutorial. So we'll probably do that. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put out flaps 1. Flaps 1 just to continue to slow us down just a little bit, and so we're not too rushed with the flaps. One thing that's important to keep in mind, I'm going to put this on the descent page. There's this, once you click descent right here, there's this awesome little feature right here, vertical deviation. That is something that I really like to watch, because too many times have I realized that I am way too high and I'm not going to be able to land, at least safely, right? So I like to be able to look at that vertical deviation, make sure I'm on the path, and then make the corrections as needed. Speed brakes. So when the aircraft is in a descent, it uses the pitch and not the engines to do speed. So if you put the speed brakes out, the plane will actually start to descend faster so that it can keep its desired speed. So if you're too high, deploy the speed brakes to the flight detent, and eventually, if you've got enough space, you will catch up. I'm going to go ahead and go to flaps 5 next, or flaps 2, sorry. But I will go to flaps 5 just because there's not much of a difference in there between flaps 2 and flaps 5. Flaps 2 setting is really just a second option for takeoff. Doesn't really change much where we are on our approach.
2,500.
Alright, we're at 2,500 feet, so I'm going to go ahead and put the gear out. I could slow us down a little bit more. And I'm going to, on the approach here, take this down as well. And probably go flaps 10 as well. Oh, I did not mean to put the gear back up. Let's confirm that it is down. Yes, gear is down. Alright, so we are descending. Looks like we are on path here. And we are, well, we're 2 nautical miles away from the next waypoint. Oh, and I can see the Pappies. Looks like at this next waypoint we are going to straighten out on the runway. Just gotta stay away from that mountain right there. Ooh man, that's close, right? So let's give it a little exterior view with a view of the city of Palm Springs. Oh man, that is a beautiful sight, and honestly, might be the thumbnail of the video. It looks quite nice. Alright, let's get back in the cockpit, because we are trying to land a plane here. I'm going to go flaps straight to flaps 25, go ahead and skip 15 there. And as you see now, the speed is in my control. I'm going to put it at 151, which is our approach speed of 144 plus 5, just to deal with variation in wind. So now that we're starting to slow down, I'm going to go ahead and put it at flaps 30. Let the flaps move on their own. And in a second, I'm going to take out the autopilot and land this thing myself. Just do a quick scan of everything, make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. We've got the auto brakes, spoilers. Oh, nope, they were armed already. keep them armed. And I'm going to go ahead and take out the autopilot. Turn off the siren, and it is now my aircraft. I've got the PAPIs in sight. I've also got my flight directors, but I'm probably going to follow the PAPIs because it keeps my eyes up instead of down in the instruments. We are a little bit fast, but I don't think that will be a problem with our landing. So just a quick thing. Once I get to the about 20 or 30 foot call out, I'm going to flare the nose up about 5 to 10 degrees and wait for the wheels to hit the ground. As soon as I get the nose wheel on the ground, I'm going to press F2, press and hold F2 in order to deploy the reversers. And once we get to about 80 knots, I'm going to press on the pedal brakes to disengage the auto brakes, and then I'll do manual braking from there. Looks like we're getting a little low. We are lined up with the runway now.
Approaching minimums.
Alright, we're approaching minimums. We are going to continue. I'll line ourselves up with the runway just to be sure here. There's that short runway just on the right that we were not going to be landing at.
50, 30.
And, oh, looks like we are floating it. We're going to get this thing on the ground.
10.
Oh man. So, on the actual stretch of runway that we are supposed to land on, looks like we did overrun just a little bit, but there is plenty of concrete out here left for us. We're going to use the whole thing because we're paying for the whole thing, right? So we're going to take a left here. The terminal is back into the left. Since we use so much runway, we're going to have a little bit of a taxi, but that's alright because it allows us to actually take care of the aircraft. So right now we're going to put the flaps back up to 0. You saw earlier that I did disarm the auto brakes, or I switched off the auto brakes here. We're also going to close up the spoilers, landing lights off, taxi lights on, and go ahead and start the APU. Just so that once we get to the gate, we will be on the APU. And we won't have to wait for it to start up before we can turn the engines off. So it looks like our flight time was about 2 hours and 32 minutes. While I struggle really hard to stay on the taxi line, I'm gonna go ahead and fix that real quick. Not sure what that's all about. But yeah, now we're just going to taxi back in. We're going to flip certain things off, flip the flight directors off, auto throttle's already off. At this airport, we'll go ahead and flip off TCAS. Oh, didn't want to get in the 2D cockpit. And this is why you need a don't take my taxiing too literally or too as an indicator of the rest of my virtual piloting abilities, because this is why you need a first officer, so that you can shut down, or so you can configure the airplane without having to steer and maintain speed and doing all the configuring of the aircraft, right? That's what first officers are for. Alright, so Since I'm going to do a complete tutorial here, I'm going to go ahead and park up at the gate, and then I'm going to do a full shutdown of the aircraft as if this was the last flight of the day. Full shutdown of the aircraft is just like a startup of the aircraft, except in the reverse process. So we're going to do the same process that we did in the first video, just backwards. And now we're going to slow way down so we can make this turn into the terminal. We got a nice small airport here. Let's not lose momentum. We're going to go around to this side terminal. This is an ORBX airport, so I don't think the jetways work. But we will try just for good measure. We go into what I believe is stand 8 right here. Yes, see the the jetways are pre-extended into the parking spot here. So, oh man. I've had this bug before. Sometimes my my pedal gets, or my toe brakes get stuck in a locked position or so, and they I can give toga power and it won't do anything. Alright, parking brakes on. Next up, we're going to do the APU gen so that we can safely turn off the engines without losing power. Flip those two fuel levers, turn off the engines, and once again we're going to do the reverse process of everything we did up here. Turn off the electric hydraulic pumps, fuel pumps off. Go ahead and let our passengers out. I'm sure they've been waiting. And then we can go down in here, menu, FS actions, doors, and open up that door and also the cargo doors. There we go. Alright, now that we have gotten that far, let's pretend like it's the end of the day. It's dark outside, last flight of the day, all the passengers have already departed from the plane. We're just sitting here waiting for the plane to take off, and then it's time to shut down the plane. So let's do it. First thing we are going to do is we're going to take the APU gens and we're going to well, actually we're going to disarm the emergency lights, turn off the yaw damper, come up here, turn off the IRSs, set them to off, then turn off all the lights, and APU gens we can flip off. Now we're on battery power. Also go ahead and shut off the APU. We did not put ourselves on ground power, although we should set the wheel chocks. Almost forgot to do that. So let's go back up here to the panel. Everything's off here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to unguard the battery and right click it. Well, that's a sound bug. So if you do have this sound bug, which I have, where the engine sounds or the APU sounds keep going, press Q to turn off the sounds, and then press it again to turn the sounds back on. As you notice, when I'm in the cockpit, it doesn't sound like the sounds are back on, but that's just because the plane is quiet. I come outside and there's wind sounds and everything like that. So, wrong button. So, shutting down the aircraft, it's a pretty simple process. Let's see if we can't get GSX to work. Well, we're on gate 8. No. see if we can't. Well, where is it? Oh, well, GSX is a little bit wrong, isn't it? They're set up on gate 6 there. Well, GSX, that's another video, right? So here we are parked up at gate, what says is gate 8. Parked a little askew of the line just because of where the jetway is, but that's alright. So yeah, here we are parked up in Palm Springs International Airport. Beautiful countryside, beautiful airport, beautiful everything. So yeah, that's the end of part 2. Descent, approach, landing, and shutdown. I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to the making the next one. Like I said, most likely do the 777 tutorial, as the 777 is by far my favorite aircraft. We will probably do the 777-300 because there's a few extra features in that one than the 777-200, so we get all those. And I want to thank you for watching very much. This is BlueChipSim. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Smash that like button down there. Definitely helps with the them YouTube search algorithms. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye now.